Hey there, Eric here, and today we're going to take a look in our riser room. Depending on the layout of your property, if you've got like multiple buildings on your property, probably each building will have its own riser room. If you've got like the one big building with all the units in there, probably you'll find this stuff in your mechanical rooms, or you could have dedicated riser rooms, but should find a lot of them, similar components and everything. So right here is our, here's our main valve. You can see the water coming up out of the ground. Our main valve here, and this leads to the water in the units. It also leads straight up, and this is what feeds our sprinklers in the building. You can see our gauge. We've got about 60 psi. I recommend at least once a week, every other week at the most. You should stick your head in all your different riser rooms. Make sure you don't have any leaks. Make sure you've got proper pressure in your sprinkler system. You can come up and take a look at your fire panel. Make sure you don't have any troubles or anything. And we'll cover this on another video, but unless you saw this up front on your main panel, then this should be clear. Let's take a look at a couple of things. On the sprinkler riser, you're going to see that we've got this red box here. It's got a valve here, an indicator that tells you open or shut. And we've got another sensor right here. These are flow sensors, okay? So if ever a sprinkler head goes off, these are going to detect the water flow through the pipe, and it's going to set off the alarm. If for any reason you ever have to drain down the building or something, number one, always put your property in test. If you go over here and start tampering with this valve, it's going to send either a tamper signal or maybe a supervisory signal. At a minimum, you'll get a phone call from the monitoring company. Worst case scenario, you could have the fire department show up and they could fine you for that. So if we were going to do some work in this building, we needed to drain it down, we would close this off so we can maintain pressure in the sprinklers, and then we could go ahead and do what we needed to do. Real important here, your main valve for the entire building, these things go bad, and it's mostly from a lack of use. So at least every 3 months at the most, come and exercise your valves 2 or 3 times, and if you do this, then your valve should be ready for you next time you need to use it, and you won't have one that doesn't want to close completely. Another part, real important thing in your riser room is your little space heater. If it ever gets so cold that you run the risk of freezing, you got to make sure these things work. You don't need to make it 80 degrees in here, but you do need to keep it 55, 60 degrees when it's freezing cold outside. You don't want this stuff to freeze and burst and crack. There is a pull station in here. Mostly that's for the guys when they come and do their test, but if you're ever driving by the building and you see a fire and you notice that the alarms haven't gone off yet, get over here, pull this thing, make sure that the fire department's on their way, and then you can go about your thing, finding out where the fire is and what you can do to address it. We've got some extra sprinkler heads up in there. This is our surge protector for our panel, super important component. And otherwise, that's pretty much a standard riser room. Thank you very much.